The Manual of Strategic Surrender by Sarah Lilly. The eighth time I got dropped into a billionaire romance novel, the story was already halfway through. I dutifully played my part as the villainous CEO's fiancé, devoted, graceful, and oh, so frugal. But that son of a bitch's affection level for me was still stuck at a measly 20, right where it started. To put that in perspective, a stray dog I'd pet on the street would probably hit an affinity level of 30. If he wasn't going to give a damn, then neither was I. Screw it. The eighth time I found myself in this world, the main plot was already in full swing. I was the long, suffering fiancé of the story's villain, playing the role of a perfect, penny-pinching partner. And yet, his affection level for me remained frozen at 20. Honestly, a stray dog would like me more after a single pat. What do we do, host? If we don't succeed soon, my performance bonus is going to get docked. The system's tinny voice buzzed in my ear, grating on my last nerve. Let it get docked. Worst case, I'll cover it for you. I stormed down the stairs, my face a mask of ice, and nearly collided with the villain himself, Hans Thorne, who had just returned home. His expression was dark, radiating a foul mood. Based on my last 7 attempts, I knew this was the part of the story where the hero and heroine just got engaged. I crossed my arms, a smirk playing on my lips. Well, look at that thundercloud on your face, Mr. Thorne. Did the lovely Miss Meadows turn you down again? The moment the words left my mouth, Hans's glacial gaze snapped to me. The system audibly gasped in my head. Host, are you insane? Our mission is to win him over, win him over. Win him over, my butt. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw my brain. 7 times. 7 goddamn times I'd thrown myself at this mission. The only thing I'd ever tried that hard for was my SATs. So what if the mission fails? I wasn't desperate for the points. All the frustration I'd swallowed in the past 7 lives, I was cashing it all in right here, right now. Was I wrong? I arched an eyebrow, dancing gleefully on the landmine of his ego. You know, you're actually kind of pathetic, Mr. Thorne. You've even her backup option for years, and you still can't compete with the guy who just showed up out of nowhere. Hans's eyes grew colder, sharper. He strode towards me, his god, like a handsome face etched with frost. Raw, murderous intent glittered in his dark eyes as he cornered me against the wall. Diana Vance, what did you just say? Are you deaf? I shot back, raising my voice. I said you're a simp. You've got a gorgeous, devoted, incredible fiancé right here, but you'd rather chase after another man's woman. System, ping villain's affection level has increased by 5. Me. Holy crap, was this guy a masochist? I took a moment for some serious self-reflection. When I was nothing but sweet and accommodating, his affection level either stagnated or dropped. But the second I talked to him, it went up. Could it be? Did Hans Thorne have a thing for this? No, that couldn't be right. The heroine, Erica Meadows, was the epitome of a gentle, innocent little flower. Hans himself seemed stunned. He looked at me as if he couldn't comprehend how the woman who was always as placid as still water had suddenly turned into a raging storm. I couldn't be bothered to explain. I shoved him aside. From now on, Hans, you can go on being her pathetic simp, and I'll go on living my fabulous life. I walked straight out of the Thorne mansion and hailed a cab to the most exclusive shopping district in the city. In the car, the system asked timidly, Host, are you trying a new strategy to win him over? I was silent for a few seconds. Honestly, do you really think that asshole is winnable? Can't we just switch targets? System, well, this one was always rated as high difficulty. But don't worry, host, our next mission is super easy. Great, I muttered, rubbing my temples. The whole thing was just exhausting. Imagine failing the same exam 7 times in a row. You'd want to just walk out of the testing center too. Even with that tiny bump in his affection level, I had 0 motivation to continue. Going from a 0 to a 5 is still a spectacular fail. Once I reached the mall, I picked the most expensive steakhouse I could find, filled my stomach, and then embarked on a shopping spree of epic proportions. The heroine of this world was a poor, innocent girl who preached the virtues of frugality. To make Hans fall for me, I had forced myself to abandon my own heiress, level spending habits, and mimic her. But now, with Hans's limit black card in my hand, my steps felt light as air. Today, I'd start by casually blowing through a cool $1 million. To hell with being frugal, I was born to spend money. Chapter 2, Hans caught up with me after I finished watching a movie. He practically threw me into his car, his face a grim mask. What have you been doing all day? I flashed the new diamond ring and bracelet on my hand. Didn't you get the text alerts? I've been shopping. Right, Diana Vance, you've got some nerve, he seethed, his face darkening even further. I nodded in agreement. I certainly did. It takes nerve to burn through $1 million in a single afternoon. And damn, did it feel better than completing some stupid mission. I held the black card out to him. Here. He didn't take it. I waved it again. Just so you know, I plan on doing this every day for the foreseeable future. The unspoken threat was clear. Take it back or prepare for an avalanche of transaction alerts. But hands remained motionless. I'll have the alerts turned off. That wasn't really the point, was it? Well, if he wasn't taking it back, I was more than happy to keep using it. Spending someone else's money is a uniquely thrilling experience. Hands just kept staring at me, his dark eyes cold and intense. I straightened my spine, ready for a fight. Putting aside his personality, Hans Thorne was undeniably gorgeous, easily on par with the novel's hero. But to me, he was just an impossible test paper. And who falls in love with a test you can never, ever pass? He was silent for so long my eyes started to burn from the staring contest. What are you looking at? Did you suddenly realize how devastatingly beautiful I am and fall head over heels? A muscle in Hans's jaw twitched. Are you possessed? Possessed my ass. I shot back, then spotted a lively street food market nearby. Stop the car. Hans got out with me. I picked a bustling barbecue joint and was about to sit when I noticed Hans's gaze lock onto something, his eyes turning to ice. The world really isn't fair. A short distance away, the hero, Leo, had his arm wrapped around the heroine, Erica. They looked like a picture, perfect couple, basking in the glow of their love. Then I looked at the villain beside me. His face was a thunderous mask of rage, looking like he was about to burn the whole world down. I shrugged, casually twisting the knife in his heart. Tusk, they look so perfect together, don't they? A match made in heaven. Hans shot me a look that screamed, shut your mouth. I pressed on, relentless. You know, Mr. Thorne, at this point, if you try to interfere, you're not the other man, you're the other woman. Diana, would it kill you to be quiet? Hans's voice was laced with venom. I smiled sweetly. Hans, would it kill you to not be in love with Erica Meadows? A complex emotion flickered across his face. He stared at me but said nothing more. I ignored him, happily devouring a massive amount of barbecue before we got back in the car. Just as I was about to close the door, a soft voice called out from behind us. Hans, can we talk? It was the heroine, Erica. She looked as gentle and lovely as ever, her eyes holding a heartbreaking vulnerability. I waved a hand dismissively and stepped aside, making myself scarce. I bought a boba tea and squatted under a streetlight, waiting. The system piped up, disgusted by my lack of ambition. Host, you can't just give up, we have to get back in the game. Oh, system, just let it go, I sighed. The sky is gonna rain, my mom's gonna get married, and the villain is hopelessly in love with the heroine. What can I do? A shadow fell over me. I looked up. Hans was standing there, his tall frame silhouetted against the light, his handsome features cast in sharp, unforgiving lines. You two done? I asked, slowly getting to my feet. My legs had gone numb. Hans grunted a soft, yeah. Seeing him like that, I knew, another rejection. For the nth time, a rare wave of pity washed over me. I patted his shoulder. You know, sometimes in life, you just have to learn to let go. It makes sense she didn't choose you. I mean, who would choose a guy who's blind? Hans's mouth twitched. He roughly pulled me into the car. Who are you calling blind? I rolled my eyes. You, obviously. You have a woman this beautiful, this graceful, this perfect, and you don't even see her. If that's not blind, what is? Cistern. Ping. Villain's affection level has increased by 5. Me. Son of a bitch, he really is a masochist. Hans really must have gone blind. He was scrutinizing me, his gaze intense, as if trying to see straight through to my soul. I paid him no mind. As soon as we got back to the mansion, I started packing. The system was practically vibrating with excitement. Host, I get it now. This is reverse psychology. You're pulling back to draw him in. Reverse psychology, my ass. I was genuinely done. To solidify my new, checked-out lifestyle, I moved out of Hans's mansion. $1 million doesn't last forever, but it's more than enough to buy a nice condo. Once I was settled in my fabulous new home, I sent a text to my best partner in crime in this world. Got any cute boy toys? Send a few my way. Her reply came instantly. Deanna, are you possessed? Possessed my ass. I've turned over a new leaf. Can a girl start fresh? She was ecstatic. Yes, you can. Welcome to the Bad Girls Club. She was fast. Within minutes, she'd sent me profiles for 3 different guys. I added them all. With my lightning-fast texting skills, juggling 3 conversations at once was a piece of cake. That evening, Hans finally noticed I was gone. His call came through. "Where are you?" His voice on the other end was as clipped and cold as ever. I was in the middle of a DIY manicure, one hand elegantly poised. "I moved out," I replied cheerfully. There was a 2-second pause. "Deanna, what the hell are you playing at?" I smiled. "I already told you, we go our separate ways." "Fine, do whatever you want." He hung up. I admired my freshly painted nails and blew on them gently. To be honest, even though Hans eventually became the ultimate villain who destroyed the hero and took over half the corporate world, he had never treated me, his fiancée, poorly. Maybe it was guilt, maybe something else. The next day, Hans showed up at Erica's place, a pink gift box in hand. And how did I know this with such certainty? Because the condo I just bought was right next door to the heroine. I found the perfect vantage point. Chapter 3. The next day, Hans showed up at Erica's place, a pink gift box in hand. And how did I know this with such certainty? Because the condo I just bought was right next door to the heroine. I found the perfect vantage point. From my balcony, I could see the coy reluctance on the heroine's face and the mole on the tip of Hans's nose with crystal clarity. "Hey, system," I mused. "How can a guy with a personality like Hans's be such a simp for the heroine?" It was a question that had always baffled me. The system didn't know either. Maybe because she's the heroine. That was as logical an explanation as any. As the female lead, every important man was contractually obligated to fall for her, no questions asked. I watched for a bit before heading back inside. I was about to crawl into bed for a glorious nap when a text from Hans came through. "Hans, open the door." I shot up in bed like I'd been electrocuted. Had he seen me earlier? I peeked out from the balcony again. The yard next door was empty. I leaned over the railing, a position that gave me a clear view of the street below my building. The moment I did, my eyes locked with a pair of intense, dark ones. He was looking up at me, the afternoon sun casting a golden halo around him, making him look even more devastatingly handsome. "Deanna Vance, come down and open the door." I slipped on my slides and went downstairs to let him in. He got straight to the point. "You used my card to buy a condo here. Didn't you say I could spend it on whatever I wanted?" I shot back, completely unrepentant. Hans's gaze swept across the first floor before settling on my face. "Why here?" I paused for a few seconds, then asked him seriously, "Do you want the honest truth or the real truth?" Since it was his money, I figured I should at least pretend to care about the feelings of my sugar daddy. Hans didn't hesitate. "The real truth." "To get a front row seat to watch you simp for another woman, of course." I had finally managed to piss Hans off. His face was terrifyingly dark. He looked like he was torn between strangling me and exercising every ounce of his self-control. I could get away with this for one reason: my father. Years ago, my dad had saved Hans's life, and he'd been a crucial supporter as Hans built his empire. It was the only reason I'd secured the position of his fiancée in the first place. "Diana, don't you have anything better to do?" Hans finally managed to bite out, reining in his temper. I nodded. "I'm a trust fund baby with all the time and money in the world. What do you think?" Besides, I used to be a simp myself, and because I knew what it was like to stand in the rain, I was determined to tear his umbrella to shreds. I needed to see what the man I could never have looked like while chasing someone he could never have. Hans was powerless against me. Suddenly, he grabbed my wrist, his gaze traveling up my arm until it landed on a small mole on my bicep. He was starting to suspect I wasn't the same person. It made sense. The shift from a meek, gentle flower to my true, give-no-fuck self was jarring. "If you like living here, then fine," Hans said, releasing me. "But I'm going to be very busy for a while, Diana. I need you to behave." "Sure," I said with a dismissive wave. He gave me another long, searching look. Just as he turned to leave, his phone rang. "Hey, Hans," I called out. He turned back, his expression still annoyed. "What now?" I beamed at him. "Could you take out the trash on your way out?" I was woken up by a cacophony of clanging and chanting. I checked the time. Only 9 in the morning. I shuffled downstairs in my slippers and opened the door to find a group of people in robes swarming my yard. The one in the lead was ringing a bell. When he saw me, he circled me several times, the bell ringing furiously. "What the hell are you doing?" I demanded. No one answered. "Host, I think they might be performing an exorcism," the system offered. "Exorcise my ass." I slammed the door and stormed back inside, immediately calling Hans. The second he picked up, I unleashed a torrent of rage. "Hans Thorne, are you out of your goddamn mind?" My own father didn't even know I'd bought this place. The only possible culprit was Hans. "It seems it's not working," came his infuriatingly calm reply. "Of course it's not working. Hans, get these weirdos out of my yard now." His tone remained unhurried. "Don't worry, they'll leave once the ritual is complete." I took 2 deep breaths, but the noise outside was still driving me crazy. I tried a different tactic. "Aren't you worried they'll disturb Erica?" Chapter 4. I took 2 deep breaths, but the noise outside was still driving me crazy. I tried a different tactic. "Aren't you worried they'll disturb Erica?" "Erica went to work this morning." Great. So I was the only one being tormented. I hung up and stormed upstairs to change. If I couldn't fight them, I could at least flee. I used Hans's card to check into a 5-star hotel and took a glorious afternoon nap. Later that day, I got a text from my father. It was an ultimatum. Come work at Hans's company or all my credit cards would be cut off. I ignored it, happily swiping Hans's card instead. "I'm sorry, miss, but this card has been declined," the smiling cashier informed me. Fuming, I called Hans again. "You froze the card. Come to my office, I'll unfreeze it." I gritted my teeth. "Hans, I'm a spoiled brat who knows nothing about business. What could I possibly do at your company?" His disdain was palpable through the phone. "You think I expect you to actually do anything? I just can't stand seeing you with so much free time on your hands." Hans was getting his revenge. My brazen attitude had finally pushed him too far, and I had to admit, for a villain, he knew exactly where to strike. In this world, no money meant no life. The only silver lining was that his affection level for me had crawled up to 40. At least I was officially more likable than a random dog now. At 2 o'clock sharp, I clicked my heels into Hans's office. He was in the middle of an international video conference and didn't have time for me. Instead, his assistant handed me a file. I flipped it open. Responsible for Mr. Thorne's daily meals and well-being. Includes coffee runs, lunch orders. This wasn't a job. This was a nanny position. I snapped the folder shut just as Hans finished his meeting. He looked at me. "There's an auction tonight. You're coming with me." I nodded, my face a blank mask. "When do I get my card back?" "There's a 3-day probationary period," he said, steepling his fingers on the desk, his dark eyes fixed on me. "We'll talk about it after you pass. You've got to be kidding me." I wanted to strangle him. Gritting my teeth, I opened my banking app. Thankfully, I still had a few $1,000s in my account. If I was careful, it could last me a month. Just then, a notification popped up on my phone. I tapped it. It was a voice message. "Hey, beautiful, when are we finally going to meet?" I could feel the murderous intent radiating off the villain. Under his terrifying glare, I calmly switched off my phone's screen, meeting his gaze without flinching. "So sorry about that, Mr. Thorne. Forgot to turn down the volume." The new guys my friend had sent over were all such sweet talkers. They called me beautiful and angel, and I was eating it up. I had planned to meet one of them tomorrow, but it looked like that would have to be postponed. Hans's eyes were practically daggers. His long fingers tightened around his pen, knuckles turning white. "Already found my replacement, have we?" "Of course not. He's just a friend," I said with a wave of my hand. His expression grew even colder. "Right, I should call your father and congratulate him. I didn't know he had another son so late in life. As an elder, I should probably send a gift." He actually picked up his phone to call my dad. "Wait," I yelped, stopping him. We can talk about this." My father adored me, but he treated Hans like his own son, which was why he was so obsessed with me marrying him. If he found out I was texting other guys behind Hans's back, he'd probably fly home and scatter my ashes himself. "Delete him," Hans commanded. "Fine." It was no big deal. I still had 2 others. He rounded the desk and snatched my phone. As his long fingers scrolled through my chats, his face grew progressively darker. "Host, villains kill, oh, meter is at 100. The system shrieked in my head. That high, I glanced towards the door, wondering if I should make a run for it. "Oh, wait, never mind. It's not directed at you," the system added. "He wants to murder boy toy number 1. Oh, well, that was fine then. After the tragic loss of boy toy number 1, I reluctantly accompanied Hans to the auction. Given his status, we were seated in a private suite on the 2nd floor. Directly across from us, in another suite, were the hero and heroine. I wasn't sure if they were doing it on purpose, but Leo had his arm wrapped possessively around Erica's waist, the the perfect picture of a doting couple. I idly popped grapes into my mouth, enjoying the show as Hans's face shifted from pale to green to black. "Hurts, doesn't it?" I said, crossing my legs nonchalantly. "See, that's what a real boyfriend looks like. All your gifts and grand gestures just make you look like the backup plan." System, warning, villain's affection level has decreased by 1. I ignored it and continued. "Hans, I don't think you have a chance. This obsession is just going to drive you crazy." System, warning, villain's affection level has decreased by 5. So annoying. "Turn off the affection level notifications," I told the system. After a moment of silence, it confirmed. "Affection level notifications have been disabled." "You know, Hans," my words were cut short. A hand, smelling faintly of mint, brushed past my cheek. A moment later, a grape slipped between my lips. Hans looked at me with disgust. "Can't even food shut you up?" I swallowed the grape and finally fell silent. But it was as if he developed a new addiction. He kept feeding me, one grape after another. Jesus Christ, I never knew this masochist had a feeding fetish. My mouth was nearly full when I glanced across the room. Erica was nestled in Leo's arms, eating grapes he had peeled for her. Bitch, I was just a prop. Hans won the bid for a necklace. It was supposedly once worn by the queen of some European country. He and Leo had gone head for it, driving the price from 20 million all the way up to 100 million. I wasn't surprised. Erica had mentioned admiring the necklace earlier. The two men were just trying to outdo each other to win her favor. After the auction, Hans drove me home. As I saw Erica getting into a car behind us, a thought struck me. "Hey system, what's Hans's affection level for Erica?" "Beep, ECRRRK." The system's voice sounded strange, static. "System, you okay?" After a long pause, it finally answered. "The villain's affection level for the heroine is 30. I thought I'd misheard. I made it ask again and again, but the answer was the same. "Host, I think maybe the villain doesn't actually like the heroine," the system said, its confidence suddenly restored. I rolled my eyes. "You're the one who told me the villain was in love with the heroine. Now you're saying he's not. You know, system, for all my failures, you deserve most of the credit." System sounded uncertain again. "I find it strange, too. How could it only be 30? I ignored it, convinced it was just malfunctioning. The moment this mission was over, I was putting in a request to have it serviced. When Hans dropped me off, he followed me inside. It looked like he was planning to stay the night. I didn't mind. After all, he'd paid for the place. He walked me to my bedroom door and handed me the box from the auction. "What, you want me to deliver your gift for you?" I snapped. There was a limit to how much of a prop I was willing to be. He gave me a look of pure disgust. "It's for you, E," he didn't explain. "You can have the morning off tomorrow. We're leaving for a business trip in the afternoon." With that, he turned and left. I stood there holding the $100 million necklace, watching his retreating back. "System," I whispered, "do you think he's starting to like me?" Giving a girl a necklace like this had to mean something, right? The system was ecstatic. "Definitely. The villain is totally falling for you." The thought kept me up all night. It was an unexpected victory after I'd completely given up. I decided then and there. It was time to get back in the game. Okay, game over, I'm out again. The moment I came downstairs this morning, I saw her. The heroine Erica Meadows is sitting in my living room. She and Hans were chatting and laughing, having a wonderful time. And while Hans's expression was still cool, the easy way he responded to her, that was not the behavior of a man with an affection level of 30. I roared at the system. "Check it again. What is his affection level for her right now?" System jumped, startled by my tone. It whispered back 80. I knew it, this useless piece of junk. No wonder he gave me the necklace last night. He wanted to trade it for my condo so he could be closer to her. The classic close to the water, first to see the moon strategy. I was going back to my checked-out life. After a brief hello, I left the condo, graciously giving them their space. Then I immediately texted boy toy number 2 to set up a date. My friend replied, "For real." "What about your fiancé?" I texted back. "My fiancé is dead to me. From now on, call me Queen Diana." Boy toy number 2 was handsome with a sweet, boyish personality, but his 8-pack abs were the real deal. My eyes practically popped out of my head. I couldn't stop myself from reaching out and taking his hand. This was the life. Who cared about missions and villains? "Warning, warning, level 1 alert, hostile entity approaching," the system blared. "Who is it now?" I grumbled. "System, your fiancé, the one you just declared dead." I was dragged home by Hans. He shoved me onto the sofa and loomed over me. "Diana, care to explain?" I smoothed my disheveled hair and met his fiery gaze calmly. He's my next prospect. Hans seemed taken aback by my honesty. He clenched his jaw, his grip on my arm tightening. You want to break the engagement? Look, you don't want to marry me anyway. What's the point of dragging this out? I sighed heavily, patting his shoulder with my free hand. Mr. Thorne, it's not that I didn't try. You're just not into me. Am I supposed to waste my whole life on you? I was truly done. When this was all over, I would just accept the penalty. Hans's lips thinned. After a long moment, I heard him mutter, maybe if we just tried a little longer. I didn't catch the rest. He let me go, his cold mask snapping back into place. Have you considered the consequences of breaking our engagement? I actually gave it some thought. Becoming single and starting my fabulous life over? I asked hopefully. He looked like he wanted to eat me alive. His face was a mask of fury. Starting your life over? Deanna, you wish. See, I've always been an optimist. Perhaps he'd gotten so angry he'd looped back to calm. He looked at me coolly. Fine, you want to end the engagement, you can. Over the past 3 years, you've spent roughly $200 million of my money. I'm not in the habit of financing another man's wife. I'll round it down for you, $200 million. My smile froze on my face. $200 million. There was no way I could come up with that on my own. And if my father found out it was a breakup fee, he wouldn't give me a dime. He'd probably fly back from overseas just to kill me. I quickly changed my tune, pouring Hans a glass of water. Why bring money into this? It's so tacky. If you're not in a hurry to break up, Mr. Thorne, then neither am I. He didn't take the glass. Just look down at me. Don't even think about it again. Erica sought me out. After the boy toy incident, Hans had me on a tight leash. Erica had to catch me during my lunch break. Let's get straight to it, I said as soon as we sat down. I only have an hour. Erica looked surprised for a moment, then nodded, her expression serious. We're in the same business. Seeing my confusion, she clarified. The system. At that moment, my own system finally reacted. Ping, detecting presence of System Unit 17. You useless piece of junk. I've met the heroine multiple times, and you're only detecting her now. Wait a minute, a thought struck me. The past 7 times were you here too? Erica nodded, offering a slightly embarrassed smile. Sorry, I chose to pursue 2 targets simultaneously. I didn't know you existed. I understood immediately. Mission success was based on completion percentage, but some transmigrators chose to tackle multiple targets at once. Work one job, get paid for several. Who wouldn't want that? No wonder winning Hans over had been so difficult. The woman in front of me was clearly a higher-level player. Losing to her made sense. The real blame lay with the main system for putting 2 of us in the same world. I can give up on Hans. Before Erica could finish, I held up a hand. It's fine, don't worry about it. Your affection level with him is already at 80. You're almost there. But you'll be penalized, she said, looking at me with concern. I waved it off. It's just a few points. Erica thought for a moment, then took my hand. If I succeed, I'll give you the points from Hans's route. This was a system error anyway. I'll file a report and request compensation for you. Damn, she really was the heroine. What a class act. A wide grin spread across my face, and I squeezed her hand back. Just one question. Erica, what is it? While you're at it, can you request to win me over too? The heroine got to work. Every evening, I'd see Erica walking towards my condo, a box of homemade pastries in hand. I'd be lounging in my hammock on the balcony, which gave me a perfect view of the 2 of them chatting in my yard. My system, upon learning about the presence of its former master, System Unit 17, had joined me in giving up. Apparently, 17 had been its mentor, but my system was so useless that it failed its evaluation for 3 years straight and was kicked out. And then, lucky me, I got stuck with it. Sigh, the system lamented. Maybe in the next world we should try for 2 targets. I'm flattered you think so highly of me, I said dryly. I glanced down again, and my eyes met Hans's. His message was clear, don't interfere. I calmly got up and went back inside. Fine by me. I was getting tired of watching their sickeningly sweet drama anyway. I took a shower. When I came out of the bathroom, there was an unexpected guest in my room. I was topless, my skin flushed and rosy from the hot water. An unnatural expression flickered across Hans's face. He quickly turned his back to me. I calmly wrapped a towel around myself. Need something. Have you been watching us this whole time? He asked, still not facing me. He'd recently gotten a haircut, leaving his ears exposed. Under the lamplight, I could have sworn they were turning red. Yep, her pastries look delicious. You should save me some next time. They always made my mouth water, but I didn't want to be a third wheel. I don't know what I said that set him off, but he abandoned all pretense of being a gentleman and spun around to glare at me. And you're not even jealous. Hans looked furious. Because I wasn't jealous. I thought for a moment, then put on a sad expression. Oh, I'm used to it. After all, she's the one you love. I wish you two a long and happy life together. That only made him angrier. I could practically see the hair on his head standing on end. Seriously, he gets mad even when I'm wishing him well. I didn't get it. The system's voice echoed faintly in my mind. Could it be that he's mad because you don't care that he's with another woman? That actually made sense. So, I decided to try the opposite approach. My expression instantly turned cold. I looked down my nose at the villain before me. Hans, this is my house. In the future, I'd appreciate it if you didn't bring other women here for your little romantic rendezvous. His features softened immediately. Even the frost in his cold eyes began to thaw. It won't happen again, he said. True to his word, I didn't see the heroine at my house again. During that time, my relationship with Hans improved significantly. Though I had been cold and harsh to him at first, blaming him for 7 lifetimes of failure, I let go of my grudge once I found out I'd been competing against Erica. There's no shame in losing to a pro, and I couldn't blame Hans. A master-level player was just that charismatic. A container of barbecue was placed in front of me. Hans, just back from working late, looked tired. Eat this and throw away the trash. Don't leave it overnight. I nodded, finding him more and more agreeable. If you took marriage out of the equation, Hans actually made an excellent roommate. I took the barbecue out to the balcony. From the yard next door, I could hear the faint sounds of an argument. I found a good spot and leaned over to get a better look. I couldn't make out the exact words, but it was something along the lines of "You don't have me in your heart." I figured it out pretty quickly. The master player had slipped up. I called Hans over and pointed to the bickering hero and heroine next door. Hans, this is your chance. He merely glanced over, then said, Eat your barbecue while it's hot. You're not even going to do anything. I thought he was a lost cause. He was silent for a long while before finally saying, Deanna, from now on, Erica Meadows and I have nothing to do with each other. I thought Erica and Hans had just had a fight. But the next day, Erica told me, Hans's high affection level was because of an item I was using. I didn't understand. What item? In my last world, I successfully captured 3 male leads at once, and the system rewarded me with an affection boosting item. In this world, all key male characters started with an affection level of 60 or 70 towards me. Damn, I wanted an item like that. But, Erica sighed, looking at me, every time I failed before, it was right after I married the hero. The villain's affection for me would plummet. I thought it was my fault, but then I saw you. Your presence, she explained, negates the effect of the item, causing the villain's affection level to drop to its natural state. And every time I got married, the villain would go dark, and your mission would be declared a failure, pulling you from the world. So, we've both been repeating this, over and over again. It all finally made sense. Why Hans's affection for Erica was so volatile. The item made him inevitably drawn to her, but as a key character in this world, he couldn't be completely controlled by it. And I was the variable that broke the spell. So, I asked the system, what's his affection level for me right now? 85. I nearly jumped for joy. It was like winning the lottery after deciding to just give up. Erica was no longer pursuing Hans. The points from the main hero were far more valuable, and she wouldn't risk the greater prize for a smaller one. And Hans's affection for me, it was just one step away from the finish line. I never expected my own father to be the ultimate wingman. I don't know what unfounded rumors he heard, but he flew in from overseas and demanded that Hans and I get married within the month. Naturally, I had no objections. I looked at Hans. He slid a folder across the table to me. I was puzzled. A prenup. I opened it. Inside were pages and pages of wedding dress designs. Stunned, I stared at him suspiciously. You've had this planned for a while. No, he denied instantly. Then, with an air of forced nonchalance, he steepled his fingers on his lap and looked at me coolly. Only for a couple of days. I rolled my eyes. Hans, is it that hard to admit you've fallen for me? He looked a little flustered. I continued, gloating. I told you from the beginning. I'm beautiful, graceful, and a total catch. Anyone who can't see that is blind. Hans's expression became unreadable. I asked the system, what do you think he's thinking right now? Is he thinking his life is complete now that he gets to marry me? The system replied immediately. He's probably thinking, do I really have to go through with this? Hans and I spent the next few days in a blissful honeymoon phase. I sacrificed my body and soul, shamelessly flirting and seducing him, but his affection level stubbornly remained at 95. It just wouldn't budge. On our wedding day, Erica came. I had the system constantly monitoring Hans's affection level for her. It stayed at a steady 30. Perfect. His feelings for me were rock solid. Erica smiled and handed me a gift. Congratulations on your wedding. Don't forget to grab dinner with me after our missions are complete. I nodded and asked about her own mission. She glanced at Hans, who was a short distance away, and lowered her voice. I'll be leaving today. I may not have captured the villain, but the points from the hero are more than enough to let me live lavishly for a while. After Erica left, Hans came to my side, a hint of displeasure in his voice. How did you two become friends? I gave him a disdainful look. Should I have become her enemy because of you? Huh, as if any man was worth that. 3 months into our marriage, life was sweet. I had to admit, Hans was a wonderful husband. He let me do whatever I wanted, encouraging my lazy, spoiled lifestyle. The only problem was his affection level, which was still stuck just shy of a perfect score. It was incredibly frustrating. Maybe, the system began tentatively, you should try that. What? The system, instantly, downloaded a very spicy movie clip into my brain. The more it showed me, the more excited it became. Whips, candles, the whole 9 yards. Isn't that a bit much? I said, my mouth twitching. System, do you have any better ideas? Damn it. Here goes nothing. That night I was exhausted, but Hans was full of energy, carrying me to the bath. The moment the hot water enveloped me, I felt myself drifting off to sleep. System, ping, the villain's affection level has reached 100. He really was a masochist. The end. And that's a wrap on today's reading here at Booked for Drama. If you felt anything, rage, swoon, secondhand heartbreak, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow drama lovers. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments. Until next time, keep reading and keep the drama on the page.